Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Afoma Omesi and I run the website Reading Middle Grade, where I champion middle grade books for kids ages 8 to 14. Today I'm going to be talking about something very exciting, which is my top middle grade books of 2024. I'm only going to be sharing about 5 in this video, but if you hop over to my blog readingmiddlegrade.com, you will see the full list of favorites. They should be around 10 or 15. So you check that out and see the rest of the list, but I will share with you 5 in this video. Starting things off with The Wrong Way Home by Kate O'Shaughnessy. Now this book released in February and I was immediately hooked, first of all by the premise and then also by the execution of the story. It's all about a girl who has been raised for the last few years in a cult. She does not realize that she's in this cult, but of course her mother over time has seen that something is off with this group that they're living. It's like an off-the-grid community where they work and they grow things and they mend things. Everything is done by hand. They're protecting the planet. But of course the person benefiting is the charismatic leader of the group. And one day Fern is the girl's name, Fern's mother decides that she's had enough and she packs up her daughter in the night and they escape the cult. Now, Fern doesn't understand why they've left the safety of this cult, this place that she's always known as home and family. And so while her mother is trying to rebuild her life in the coastal town they've moved to, Fern is actually planning to get them back to the cult. So it kind of creates this suspense throughout the story because Fern is basically working against her mother and she's researching to know exactly where the cult was, or this ranch, because they called it the ranch. They were living on a ranch, and she's researching ways to get back there, to get in contact with the leader of the ranch, so the leader can come and get her and her mother back to the ranch. I was on edge throughout the story. I love that it's such a fresh idea, and I love a character who is unpredictable, who is rooting against herself essentially. And I love seeing the dynamic arc of Fern's character and how she comes to really understand and accept the truth of where she's coming from and the sacrifice that her mom has made to get her out of this cult. This is a wonderful story for kids ages 10 and up. If you have young readers who love realistic fiction, which is my favorite brand of stories as well, this is a wonderful story to pitch to them and something that they're going to really enjoy sinking their teeth into. I love this author. She has a wonderful backlist of titles as well. One of my favorite books by her is Lasagna Means I Love You. It was also on my favorites list last 2 years, I think. And this is a wonderful book to try out as well. Next up on my list is one for younger middle grade readers in grades 4 and 5. This one is called Carter Avery's Tricky Fourth Grade Year. It's about Carter Avery, who has ADHD. He's moving on to the 4th grade and he's heard a lot of rumors about his teacher, Miss Olivia, who they call the Owl, because apparently she sees everything going on in the classroom. And so with all of the rumors he's heard, he's very nervous to start 4th grade, especially because teachers don't tend to like him because he can be a bit disruptive and impulsive during his classes. But Carter is pleasantly surprised when he gets into the 4th grade because Miss Olivia is not what they said she was going to be. So he's enjoying his class, he's enjoying his new teacher, until Miss Olivia gets pregnant and new rumors start to swirl in the school about her, and teachers are uncomfortable with her pregnancy and the way that she's gotten pregnant, which is by IVF, and so they start a whole petition to get her out of the school. So this is all about the love between a wonderful teacher and her student and the way that he tries to incorporate her into his own family and stand up for her and be the proof in her pudding as a good teacher. I loved the story. It totally just like touched my heart and I enjoyed the book. I also enjoyed the audiobook. I think this is a good one for younger readers in terms of the story itself, but it is on the lengthy side. It's over 300 pages long, so you might want to read it to your younger readers in grades 3 and 4. It would make for a terrific read aloud, both in your family or just in the classroom as well. This is by Buyea, who is the author of the Mr. Terrupt series, so you can imagine how wonderful this is going to be as well. The next book on my list is South of Somewhere by Kalena Miller. I adored this book because it has one of the most gripping first chapters I have ever read. So this young girl is returning from a vacation from Hawaii with her parents and her siblings. Well, her mom is actually not in the car with them because the mom has cooked up some reason why she needs to follow the family behind in a taxi, a different taxi. But when they get to their home, they notice that there's law enforcement agents surrounding their home, and everybody's like, what's going on? And then when they talk to the member of the FBI, the people in front of their house, they find out that there's an arrest warrant out for her mom. And right before their eyes, her mom tells the taxi behind them to turn around and escapes. And this is the way the story is set up. This is the setup of the story, because the rest of the book is about this girl coming to terms with the fact that her mom is kind of a criminal, and the mom has abandoned them because thanks to the arrest warrant and everything, and the fact that her mom has committed a crime, which we will learn about in the story, all of their property is seized, and they have to go to somewhere, Illinois, where her dad's sister lives, her father's estranged sister, and they have to try to live with her. So although the story seems very high stakes, there are also like very relatable things, like Mavis, the main character, starts a babysitting business, which is going to be great for kids who love the Babysitters Club. She's also really trying to make new friends. There's a lot of sibling relationship and family dynamics in this story, and I just loved it. It has this lovely summer setting, and it was actually one of the books on my summer reading guide this year. It definitely stood its ground, and it remained one of my favorites till the end of the year. I highly recommend this one for readers in grade 6 and up. My next favorite book is Boy 2.0 by Tracy Batiste. If you saw my reading vlog a couple of weeks ago, you would have seen that I enjoyed this book on audio. I was absolutely hooked. It is so funny, so refreshing, but also tackles some deeper issues. It is essentially a superhero origin story about a boy in the foster care system who discovers that all of a sudden he can turn invisible. He has to figure out what triggers this superpower, how he can harness it, and why he even has it in the first place. I love the family dynamics in this one. If you love the Vanderbeekers, you will love his foster family, the McKays, who he gets together with and gets a lot of support from. You'll also love the banter between him and his best friend. I love the male friendship that this book highlights. And I also love the way the author gently highlights some issues about racial profiling and also police violence. All of those things make this story come together harmoniously to make this story one that will be appealing to readers as young as grade 5 and up. I had never read anything by this author, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So this is one that I will be putting into the hands of young readers, especially those who like superhero stories, but also those who don't really like superhero stories, because there's not much superheroing in this first book. It's pretty much his origin story, so there's a lot more like family, a little bit of sci-fi and things like that. So this is really, really, really engaging, and I think young readers will love it. The fourth book I'm highlighting today is one that you may already know, because it's called Keeping Pace by Laurie Morrison. I've seen so many wonderful reviews of this book, and I'm very, very happy that it's getting all of this praise. This was also on my 2024 summer reading guide, which I release every year. And it's about two overachieving rivals, Grace and Jonah, and the summer that changes their life and their relationship. So Grace and Jonah, they used to be friends, but then they kind of fell off the friendship wagon. And Grace is this highly competitive overachiever who is constantly trying to beat Jonah at school and in every aspect of life. But this summer, something happens and kind of makes her start to doubt her worth, especially because she really links her worth to a sense of achievement, and ticking off those goals, making her ambitious father very happy. So she decides that she's going to start marathon training because she hears that Jonah wants to compete in a half marathon. And eventually both of them start training together, and they learn more about why their friendship fizzled out. And the friendship eventually becomes something a little more in this story. This is great for fans of middle grade romances. It's a very chaste romance. There's, I think, just one kiss shared between the protagonists. So if you have kids who are in grade 6 and up, this is one they're gonna enjoy if they like romance. But also I love that there's so much in this book to think about, especially with regard to perfectionism, competition, achievements versus relationship, personal happiness, and what really matters more in life. I loved this book, and I love everything this author writes. So if you're looking for stories about girls in sports, also dealing with major issues in life generally with a touch of romance, Laurie Morrison is your girl. And she's also a middle school teacher, so she really gets that middle school voice. All her books are really, really wonderful, and I would highly recommend this one. I actually think that was my fifth. That was my fifth recommendation. That's all for my best of the year recommendations on this channel. If you would like to see my full list of best middle grade books of 2024, I'll leave the link below to check out the blog post. I'll also be doing another video about my favorite graphic novels this year, and I'll have a blog post about my favorite young adult novels as well, released in 2024. If you would like to see my favorite backlist titles that I read in 2024, I'll be sharing that with my Patreon community. So I hope you can come join us. If you want more content from me, I share a lot of discussion guides, novel units, and other educational resources on my Patreon channel. So come join us. Every summer we do a summer book club, and Patreon members get to receive my summer reading guide for free. So I hope to see you in Patreon. We're also doing a fun project this December where I'm sharing 20 of my favorite middle grade books, a book a day in December until December 20th. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, we would love to have you over on Patreon. In the meantime, if you like this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and share it with people in your network as well. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.